On Global TV News Prime, the federal government approves the establishment of 8,880 new primary healthcare centers. In business, Serap urges President Tinubu to reject $1.8 billion World Bank loan and probe missing funds. On the foreign scene, thousands of protesters across U.S. cities to oppose divisive policies of President Donald Trump. And in sports, Chelsea stumble in Champions League race after draw at Brentford. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276 and free to air on NigeCumSat. You can also download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has shifted its Anambra governorship primaries from April 5th to April 8th. Chidi Chidebe, PDP Anambra chairman, confirmed the development in Awka during an interview. The primaries will produce the party's candidate for the November 8th governorship election. Chidebe says the National Secretariat approved the shift to complete necessary administrative processes and ensure a smooth exercise. APC National Chairman, the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, has condoled with the family and the entire people of Kano State over the death of Galadiman Kano, late Abbas Sanusi. Abbas Sanusi, who is the father of the APC State Chairman, Abdullahi Abbas, died on Thursday after a brief illness. Global Television's correspondent Idris Jibrin witnessed the visit in Kano and now reports.
Leaders of the APC. The chairman Abdullahi Ganduje arrived the VIP wing of the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport to, among other things, pay his condolence visit to the Emir of Kano, Amina Ado Bayero. The Emir's palace in Nasarawa, Ganduje was received by the Sarkin Dawaki Aminu Babba and other traditional rulers of the Kano Emirates. The main reason why we visited this historic palace, Your Highness, is to condole you over the passing away of Galadima of Kano. There is no doubt that Galadima of Kano's death is a great loss not only to Kano people or Northerners, but Nigerians in general. The national chairman of the APC, we thank you for this condolence visit. We are sure if he had been in town at the time of the funeral, we would have done it together with him. We thank God he was at the Holy Land at the time, and we believe his prayers for the Galadima of Kano are answered. Back at Galadanchi quarters, the national chairman met with the state chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Abbas, where he condoled him over the passing away of his father, late Abbas Sanusi. Hundreds of party supporters across the 44 local government areas of Kano State turned out to join Abdullahi Ganduje in condoling the entire people of Kano State over what he described as a great loss, not only to Kano, but Nigeria in general.
The Galadima of Kano is not only a loss to his family or to the people of Kano State, but to all Nigerians. Considering the service that he delivered during his lifetime, he really contributed to the development of traditional institutions in Kano, not only in Kano, but in the whole of the country. Therefore, it is our responsibility to call the people of Kano State to continue to pray for his soul.
Late Abbas Sanusi was crowned the Galadima of Kano after the death of the 13th Emir of Kano, Alhaji Ado Bayero, during whose reign he served as the Wambai of Kano. From Kano, Idris Jibrin reporting for Global Television News.
Faced with growing criticism over the lack of progress in bridging the huge meeting gap in the power sector. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, disclosed that the government is expecting the first batch of 3,205,101 meters it ordered last year. Adelabu, in a statement by his Special Advisor, Strategic Communications and Media Relations, Tunji Bolaji, says 75,000 meters under the International Competitive Bid 1 are expected by April 2025, followed by the second batch of 200,000 meters in May 2025. The federal government is vetting potential candidates to fill diplomatic roles in its 109 missions, 76 embassies, 22 high commissions, and 11 global consulates. The development revealed that former Minister of Aviation under the Obasanjo administration, Femi Fani-Kayode, and the former Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Femi Pedro, are among the nominees. The vetting is not conducted centrally, as nominees are being asked to report to the DSS offices nearest to them. Presidency officials confirmed several candidates had been contacted to provide personal, education, and work history. The federal government has approved the establishment of 8,880 new primary healthcare centers across the country. This is under the Comprehensive Health Sectoral Renewal Investment Initiative. According to Vice President Kashim Shettima, the VP disclosed this during the commissioning of the Suleiman Adebola Adenugwa Trauma Center at the Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital in Shagamu. The facility, worth over 2 billion naira, was donated to the teaching hospital by an industrialist and philanthropist, Asiwaju Suleiman Adebola Adenuga, to mark his 80th birthday. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have arrested a 75-year-old grandfather, Nna Felix, and two brothers, John Abugu and Kenneth Abugu, in separate drug trafficking incidents across the country as the agency intensifies its crackdown on illicit drug activities. The NDLEA spokesperson, Femi Babafemi, in a statement says the suspects were caught with 5 kilograms of cocaine concealed within the walls of their suitcases. He says they had claimed to be traveling for medical treatment but were intercepted following credible intelligence. The Nigerian government has directed all heads of federal universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, and other higher institutions to disclose their annual budgets and other institutional data for public scrutiny. The Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, gave this directive in a statement released by the ministry's spokesperson, Boriowo Folashade. The minister says that educational institutions should publish their budget, break down research grant, tertiary education trust fund allocations, as well as student population on their official website. The Senate has dismissed the insinuations that the National Assembly has become a mere rubber-stamping institution to the executive arm of government, saying it needed to be combative to demonstrate its independence. The chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Senator Yemi Adaramodu, stated this in his country home, Ilawe Ekiti, during an interactive session with newsmen. He says that the upper chamber has done nothing to warrant being labeled a rubber-stamping institution. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has announced that the Crown Princess of Sweden, Victoria Desiree, will be visiting Nigeria on Monday, April 7th to Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. This was contained in a statement signed by the acting spokesperson for the ministry, Kimiabi Ebenfa. During her visit, the Crown Princess will engage in high-level meetings with Nigerian officials to strengthen the diplomatic and economic ties between the two nations. On the first day of her visit, Princess Victoria will meet with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar. The Minister of Education, Olatunji Alausa, has called for an extension of the National Youth Service Corps NYSC scheme from 1 year to 2 years. As shared in an official statement on NYSC's Facebook page, the minister expressed his view during a meeting with the NYSC Director General, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu at the Ministry's office in Abuja. Alausa, in his address, stressed the importance of enhancing the NYSC program, particularly its skill acquisition and entrepreneurship development training, adding that the national service duration be doubled from 1 to 2 years to allow core members to gain more substantial skills and experiences. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has extended the registration for the 2025 Direct Entry examination beyond the initial deadline of Monday, April 7, 2025. JAMB confirmed this in a statement issued by its spokesperson, Fabian Benjamin. The registration process, which began on Wednesday, March 12, 2025, will continue until a closing date is announced by JAMB. The Northern States Governors Forum, NSGF, has condemned the recent attacks on 5 communities in Boko's local government area, Plateau, describing them as senseless. The forum says killings threaten the unity and stability of the region. The chairman of the forum and governor of Gombe State, Inuwa Yahaya, in a statement issued in Gombe, expressed deep sorrow over the tragic incident, which claimed several lives and left scores injured, mostly women and children. With Nigeria's unemployment rate continuing to affect millions, particularly the youth, many are left seeking opportunities to build a sustainable future. As government promises reforms and job creation, citizens share their perspective on the causes and possible solutions to the lingering job crisis. The Assembly for the Preservation of Traditional Institutions in Nigeria has raised concerns over the invitation extended to the Emir of Kano, Khalifa Muhammadu Sanusi II. The group pointed out that the matter in question is already under investigation by the Kano State Command of the Nigerian Police, making the invitation by the police unnecessary and perplexing. The group, in a statement signed by its national coordinator, Yahya Ndamusa, expressed surprise at the invitation by the police, which was dated April 4, 2025, and signed by Olajide Rufus Ibitoye, Commissioner of Police, on behalf of the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Intelligence Department. The federal government has been called upon to declare a state of emergency in Nigeria's health sector. Patrick Uju, the second mate of Nats Zuma Dek, made the statement while speaking to journalists during a World Health Day walk in Abuja. Samuel Odi completes the story.
The second mate of Nazuma, Patrick Uju, underscores the need for a meeting involving all relevant stakeholders to discuss and tackle pressing issues facing the health sectors. He emphasized that such a move would help restore pride in the medical profession in Nigeria. He further urged the federal government to implement transparent and effective policies aimed at improving the health system.
This country has gone to the point where government needs to declare an emergency in the health sector. Not just in the health sector, but let us focus on the one we are celebrating today. There is need to call a stakeholders meeting. The government must be honest, they must be sincere. They must come forth with policies that will make people look at it and say, okay, I can take pride in being a doctor in Nigeria. Apart from satisfaction of saving people's lives, solving people's problems, you also take the satisfaction that your own problem is also being catered for.
It's possible. I know that people will worry about a whole lot of things, but health, for you to have good health, you must have physical activity. The least you can do is walk. The body is structured to walk. Most people think that for you to exercise, you need to play football, play lawn tennis, or do other extraneous activities. But from what we learn when we have periodical health talks is that walking is the simplest form of exercise. And walking is even easier for the aged people, because the body is made in such a way that the more you exercise your legs, the healthier you stay. It gives you opportunity for your heart works faster, your all internal organs function better when you walk. So I will encourage the elderly amongst us to imbibe the habit of walking.
The group further highlighted the importance of ensuring the welfare of doctors through deliberate effort from the government. Samuel Odi, reporting for Global Television News.
As part of activities to mark the 2025 National Police Day, the Nigerian Police Force organized a walkathon in Abuja. The event featured senior police officers, rank-and-file personnel, police families and members of the public all walking through major city routes to promote fitness, solidarity and security awareness. Ramsey Enoch Agbo has details.
The walkathon began at the force headquarters and aimed to encourage a healthy lifestyle among officers while strengthening police-community relations. Participants wore branded shirts with this year's theme and walk in unity, chanting peace songs and pledging commitment to service. Wife of the Inspector General of Police and President of the Police Officers' Wives Association, Dr. Elizabeth Egbetokun, addressed the journalists on the importance of community roles in maintaining peace and security.
To support them, to make sure that the event is successful. Exercise is very important. The message I have for Nigerians is that we should be security conscious, and it's not all about the police. Police is your friend. You have to give information to the police to be able to exercise their duties.
Walkathon is one of the several events planned for the National Police Day celebration, including police lectures, community outreaches, award ceremonies, and a Thanksgiving service. Authorities said the celebration is meant to honor police officers' sacrifices and reinforce the force's dedications to peace, integrity, and professionalism. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of the News Prime. When News Prime returns, SERAP urges President Bola Tinubu to reject 1.8 billion naira World Bank loan and probe missing funds. Details coming shortly after the break. Please stay with us.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television. Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the News Prime. In business, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has urged President Bola Tinubu to reject the recently approved $1.8 billion loan from the World Bank. The group says the president should instead direct the Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi and anti-corruption agencies to investigate allegations that over 233 billion naira of public funds were missing, diverted or unaccounted for by various government agencies, including the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC. In a statement released, SERAP argues that people responsible should face persecution when evidences are presented, and that any recovered funds should be returned to the public treasury. Nigeria's public debt increased by 48.58% to 144.67 trillion naira as of December 2024 from 97.34 trillion naira recorded at the end of 2023. Nigeria's Debt Management Office disclosed this in its latest report on the country's public debt profile. Further analysis showed that Nigeria's public debt surged by 47.32 trillion naira on a year-on-year basis. A top economic advisor to President Donald Trump says over 50 countries have reached out to the White House to begin trade talks as U.S. officials sought to defend sweeping new tariffs that have unleashed global turmoil. The U.S. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett, speaking during an interview, denied that the tariffs were part of a strategy by Trump to crash financial markets to pressure the U.S. Federal Reserve to cut interest rates. According to him, there will be no political coercion of the central bank. The federal government has reiterated its commitment to establishing more gemstone and jewelry-making centers across the country to boost entrepreneurship in the mining industry and support the local value addition policy. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, made this known during a tour of the Laurel School of Mining in Abuja. Sharon Ajay has details.
The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alake, commended the Laurel School of Mining for leading the way in training jewelry and gemstone makers, expressing satisfaction with the quality of the jewelry produced. He says the training center contribution to the mining industry has the potential to provide employment for the youth, drive industrialization of the sector, and generate more revenue for the country.
A major contribution to this economy via the solid mineral sector, and this is one of the things that we said earlier on, that we're going to improve every sector of the solid mineral space to make its own contribution. And you can see what this center is training people who are going out to train and to actually work, and that's part of the local value addition we are talking about. Yeah, the center now is really like doing processing, cutting, all the value chain of jewelry making, and that's what we have seen here now. So what more way can you contribute to the economy than actually producing something from our raw materials in Nigeria, rather than taking those raw materials out for finished products? They are now being finished right here, which is a value addition. So that's a significant contribution to the economy. It's going to generate employment, more production, and of course more revenue, and then more taxes for government as well. And then people will get engaged. You know, a lot of illegal operators would also move into this sector. A lot of our youth that are roaming the streets, this is an opportunity for them to come and learn something, you know, handiwork. And this is more than handiwork. This is actually industrialization. When you are manufacturing, when you are producing, it's industrialization, and that's what we're doing here. So it is really making significant contribution to this economy. In another year or so, we'll be able to put figures to the production value. You know, we'll be able to say, okay, this center has contributed X amount of dollars or naira or whatever it is to the GDP of Nigeria. But overall, I'm very satisfied with what is happening here.
The minister reiterated the federal government's commitment to strengthening production at the center and assured that more such centers.
On the foreign scene, I beg your pardon, tens of thousands of protesters flooded the streets of major U.S. cities to oppose the divisive policies of President Donald Trump in the largest demonstration since his return to the White House. Opponents of the Republican president's policies, from government staffing cuts to trade tariffs and eroding civil liberties, rallied in Washington, New York, Houston, Florida, Colorado, and Los Angeles, among other locations. In Washington, thousands of demonstrators, many traveling from across the United States, gathered on the National Mall, where dozens of speakers rallied opposition to President Donald Trump. In sports now, Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola has identified Bayer Leverkusen midfielder Florian Wirtz as the man to replace Kevin De Bruyne. According to the Daily Mail, the 21-year-old has shone for the Bundesliga champions since he broke into the first team as a teenager. Wirtz has crucial to Xabi Alonso's team, winning the title in a historic unbeaten campaign last season. As we end the Global News Prime, let's take a look at our top stories. The federal government has approved the establishment of 8,880 new primary healthcare centers across the country. In business, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has urged President Bola Tinubu to reject the recently approved $1.8 billion loan from the World Bank. On the foreign scene, tens of thousands of protesters flooded the streets of major U.S. cities to oppose the divisive policies of President Donald Trump in the largest demonstrations since his return to the White House. And in sports, Cole Palmer was left on the bench for almost an hour as fourth-place Chelsea's winless run on the road continued with a 0-0 draw at Brentford. That's it on Global TV News Prime. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on NigeComSat. You can also download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.
Yeah.